Welcome to the SABC News COVID-19 Global Wrap, where myself, Babalole Phaka, and my colleague Busisiwe Khatebe bring you highlights of stories which dominated news headlines with regards to the coronavirus pandemic. But before we delve into it, let us have a look at some global stats. The world currently sits at over 98 million confirmed COVID-19 cases, with over 70 million recoveries and over 2.1 million deaths. South Africa currently sits at 1,380,807 infections, with 1,183,443 recoveries and 39,501 deaths.
Staying in South Africa, Minister in the Presidency Jackson Mthembu succumbed to COVID-19 complications on Thursday. Mthembu tested positive when he went to get medical attention for abdominal pain on the 11th of January. He was 62 years old. Meanwhile, a letter from the National Treasury shows that South Africa has a 3-month plan to import, store and distribute vaccines for frontline healthcare workers through a contract with pharmaceutical company BioVac Institute. And lastly, Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize says it is not clear if there could be a third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. However, Mkhize has urged people to adhere to the COVID-19 regulations to avoid the surge of the pandemic. On to the rest of Africa, the continent has now recorded over 3.3 million confirmed COVID-19 cases, with over 2.8 million recoveries, and the death toll stands at 82,886. Africa's coronavirus case fatality rate stands at 2.5% higher than the global level of 2.2%, a trend that is alarming experts, the head of the continent's disease control body said. The Kingdom of Eswatini has extended its revised COVID-19 lockdown restrictions by another 4 weeks. More lockdown restrictions will be added in an attempt to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Ivory Coast's government said it will receive a first batch of around 100,000 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech coronavirus vaccine in mid-February, around 2 weeks later than initially planned, due to delays in availability of the shots. The country plans to roll out its inoculation program in the first quarter and would authorize vaccines from AstraZeneca, China's Sinopharm, and Russia this week. And lastly, in the Middle East, Lebanon said a 24-hour lockdown imposed earlier this month would be extended by 2 weeks, and the United Arab Emirates approved the Russian coronavirus vaccine Sputnik V on Thursday, making it the third shot to be approved for use in the country.
And in international news, the United States of America has now surpassed 400,000 COVID-19 related deaths. According to a Reuters analysis released on Tuesday, U.S. COVID-19 fatalities had totaled 63,793 in the past 3 weeks. This is compared to 52,715 in the 3 weeks prior to Christmas, an increase of 21%. And as seen in another Reuters report, the country hardest hit by the pandemic has been struggling to meet demand for vaccines to stem the spread of infection. States including New Jersey, New York, Michigan, South Carolina, and Vermont have reportedly shown signs of vaccine supply strain and have asked for more doses of 2 approved vaccines from Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna. Meanwhile, on his first full day in office on Thursday, U.S. President Joe Biden signed multiple executive actions aimed at addressing the pandemic, which include ramping up vaccinations, expanding testing, and reopening schools. And in South America, Chile has approved the emergency use of the vaccine CoronaVac, manufactured by China's Sinovac Biotech Ltd. In Asia, China reported a spike in new COVID-19 cases despite recent stringent measures to contain the latest outbreak. Authorities are also asking people to stay at home during the Lunar New Year holidays next month in efforts to prevent another outbreak. South Korea has begun setting up vaccination centers as it expects its first batch of vaccines from the COVAX scheme, while Thailand's Food and Drug Administration has approved the use of vaccine from AstraZeneca for domestic inoculation. And in India, exports of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine started on Wednesday. In Europe, German Chancellor Angela Merkel extended a hard lockdown by 2 weeks until mid-February, saying it is necessary to slow down a new and more aggressive variant. And as the pandemic takes a turn for the worse in Portugal, Prime Minister Antonio Costa announced the closure of schools due to an increase in high transmissions driven by the variant in the United Kingdom. And finally, an independent panel of experts reviewing the global handling of the pandemic said Chinese officials could have applied public health measures more forcefully in January last year to curb the initial COVID-19 outbreak. Led by former New Zealand Prime Minister Helen Clark and former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the panel also criticized the World Health Organization for not declaring an international emergency until January 30, 2020.
For the latest updates on the coronavirus, visit sabcnews.com.